Okay. So welcome everyone, and here, as well as people who are starting to join us now. And it's a great summer evening, and we had a great meditation last time. So today we're going to follow that suit and go deeper still. Yeah, let's build up on the meditation part. So, but before we get there, why don't we just start right up front with asking our guides to support us, whether in sharing, receiving insights, sharing insights, and also in the meditation. So it's, let's do that. So let's just close our eyes for a second. And at this time, close your eyes and invite your guides. So that means also your angels, guides, prophets, sages, saints, enlightened beings, your forefathers, your elders, and all those teachers who have supported you in your well-being. So we pray and we ask that these guides appear, be present in our talk, in our conversations. Let there be wisdom, let there be light, and let us go deep into the soul today. Let us explore at a deeper level. So give us understanding. Give us clarity to understand. And a deep connection so we can connect with our totality, with our cosmic self, universal self. So just visualize a silver blue color, light blue silver color coming down from the crown into the head, and very gently, softly, lovingly moving down into the entire body, slowly, smoothly, gently, into the body, into the legs, into the feet, calming you, stabilizing you, bringing peace, stillness, opening up the channels, and blue light goes into the earth. So stay in this blue light. It's grounding. So take 3 deep breaths, nice deep breaths, being fully present, fully alert, fully conscious, telling yourself, I will not be hijacked by feelings and thoughts. I will be fully present. I will be fully alert. I will be able to comprehend all the wisdom that is shared today. I will be able to receive all the healing that comes to me today. And as I benefit from this wisdom, I promise to share it through thought, feeling, all my expression in everything I do and whoever I meet. So take a moment of silence. Okay. So open your eyes, fully alert and present. So the body is still calm. And let us engage today in deeper insights. And today I want to share something with you that I have intuitively felt for a while, that 2018 comes September, and we're already in September. This time is quite unpredictable, the phase we've entered. So if you have not realized it, noticed it, you may. And so the next 2.5, 3 months, you may notice that a lot of unknown factors come into our lives. So it could be, like I said, absolutely something we cannot predict. It could be in the health issues. It could be with relationships. It could be with business. It could be with any other field. So it is not just about good and bad. It's not just about negative. This time actually is almost like really sharp. So it will cut us off from anything that is not benefiting us. So anything that actually has become a burden, we may not realize it. So it could be even thoughts and feelings or people or situations like that. So it seems like it's not going to be comfortable. Because we are not comfortable even when we are in bad situations. We find comfort in those situations. We are not comfortable when there is a change. So we have this resistance to change. So this is the time where we will not be able to control that uncomfortable feeling, because it will come upon us because of the changes. So people who actually may not be truthful, may not be supporting you, or just sometimes extras, extra burden in life. So you'll find that you may have some differences with them. They will show up, the differences will show up. Okay. So all of a sudden, again, you would say, how could so-and-so do this? Why would so-and-so say that? So it shows up like that. It's showing up already, yeah. So this is in friendships, in family. So that's what I said. You won't be able to depend and trust something. So things you've trusted, even your own ideas and opinions, may be open to examination and questioning. That, do I really need to believe that? Should I be following what I thought would be good for me and others? So there'll be a point where you'll have to take inventory of even how you're thinking and what you're thinking, even if that is valid or not. So it'll push you, situations will push you. Again, health, we can have lots of disturbances, news where unpredictability, where people we thought were healthy, all of a sudden they're not. And people passing away, so it's like checking out and checking in. There's never a time where things leave us and other things at the same time don't come in. So the door always, when you open the door, something's coming in and something's going out. It's not like a process that something cuts off, something's gone, and something else has not entered. It has usually entered our lives. So if a loss of a friend happens, then someone else has stepped in. But since we are so busy talking about the loss, experiencing the loss of something, even though it was not a good friendship, you still experience the loss. We can see that you've already had some people enter into your life that actually are filling or have taken that place, filling in the gaps already. So you'll notice that even with ideas, that old ideas, old habits, so the work will be far less. The work somehow is being done by the cosmos itself. That, like I said, it's a sharp cut, and then boom, it's cut in another level, and so and it doesn't stop. It goes till almost November end or something like that. So these times are kind of precious as much as they're very unpredictable, and they don't seem safe and comfortable because we're not used to them. We're not used to things happening at such fast speed. The turnaround, the turn off, or something like that. We're not used to that. So we have to be very quick and agile in decision making. Okay, so that is one thing that will happen. So feel free, feel comfortable if you need to change your mind 10 times, even if you need that. Because your mind can actually, it's not a solid belief system. You may have some flexibility that I don't need to believe in that. I don't need to do that anymore. Something you believed in that you wanted to do, maybe for greater good, for your good. Now you can actually look at it and say, it may not be, I'm not going to do it even if it's for greater good. That kind of sharp turn we're looking at. So it's quite exciting at this time because this may be the time where we lose all that fat that's in the mind, in the psyche, that we lose the burden and we become sharper and stronger. But if we don't recognize the power and the goodness this is bringing this time, then we can actually get a bit confused, absolutely, and get a lot more stressed because we don't understand what's happening. Why should it be happening? Life was okay. There was predictability. Now it doesn't look safe at all. So it's very important to realize that the times are such. It's not something that you did that is now going wrong, or something wrong you did and now you have to bear the consequences. It's not about that. It's actually all humanity probably will go through this strong shift in these next few months, for sure. So what is most important when you are in these times where you're on a fast speed, fast track? What would be so important? What do you need to do to hold on to your safety, to yourself, to your sense of being? So what do you think is most important in these times?
Be in the moment with yourself.
Need a moment for yourself.
Yeah, be in the moment, like find yourself, I guess, go inwards.
Be in the moment, okay, yeah. Okay.
Please stand up for yourself. I don't know.
Pardon?
Stand up for yourself.
Stand up for yourself, okay.
Maybe. I don't know.
So it could, yeah, stand up for yourself, absolutely. So what is going to happen is that even meditation, okay, that's another thing. When it comes to our spiritual growth, it's a great time. But we may not be able to meditate the way we did before. We may not be able to go deeper into those states because the vibrations and the magnetic fields are really odd, different at this time. Our connection may not be deep enough. So I think in these times, more than your meditation, more than all other spiritual practices, what is most important, like Sylvia mentioned, that we have to be in the moment and we have to be ready to act.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
When you say in these times, are you talking about fall as a time of transition, or are you talking about 2018?
I'm talking, fall is a time of transition, but I'm talking about 2018 this fall.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah, because it's come after a long time where there's such a strong shift right now. So everything will be affected. It could be weather patterns, it could be, human nature, it could be anything, everything actually. So financial situations could change dramatically, relationships, people leaving each other, people getting together out of nowhere, all of a sudden, that is all going to happen too. So in these times, your most important thing right now actually is your meditation becomes your action, that you just have to be alert and act on the spot. It's action, action, action. There's nothing, you won't have time for self-reflection. You may not even have time to think, did I do it right? Did I do it? But if you start to think, you'll get more stressed. Have you noticed in these times, if you think about why you did this, why did you think that, you won't be able to go there for too long. Because it's not that holding pattern, that holding space is not there anymore right now, where you need a space to think. In our auric field also right now, we don't have that space. We can barely keep up with what's happening. So it's action, action, action at all times. And when it comes to action, then how do we take the best action? How does that happen? How do we know that it is the best for us and best we could do in that situation? So this is where showing up with who you are, what you have is most important. Showing up, all of you. That means bringing yourself to the table totally, wholly, completely. That means your fears, your weaknesses, your strengths, your likes, your dislikes, whatever it is. Be transparent about who you are and bring yourself. Don't remain behind masks. Don't hide things anymore. Be very truthful and transparent. This is actually where you are absolutely present to that situation. Fully present to the now, in the moment. And then whatever comes up from you is exactly what you should happen. So in times before, we've actually worn many masks. You would understand that we share certain things, we don't share certain things, or because most of us feel that maybe if we shared this, maybe the situation's not right, the time is not right, the person's not right, it may not be good. So there's 10,000 thoughts that go, that you want to be so appropriate, so proper, and just you want to have that perfect situation. So you don't want to create any anxiety for yourself. You don't want to create any waves or shake anything. You just want to remain a little bit cautious. I don't think in these times that caution will work. You will have to, your cautiousness comes actually about you being mindful and strong enough to say that this is whatever that situation calls for. So you have to be fully present with all of you. You can't leave parts of you behind. All of you have to come together. For that, actually, quick meditations may help. For that, quick. So I would say 5-minute plug-in times. You go in, we'll do meditation afterwards. We can do the one we did last week, which was very profound. And 5 minutes even of that, and you're absolutely rooted and you're absolutely grounded. And you have plugged in without thought, without a feeling. So absolutely in pure consciousness, that pure space. You're not at the mental level, at the emotional level. You've actually plugged in into a deeper quality of consciousness. And that's what we need. So maybe 5-minute plug-in meditations would be plenty. I'm not sure whether we will have even the ability to talk to divine or talk to God and get answers and do that. I don't think so, because the times that it's moving so fast, you'll actually probably have to, you're called to be present and called to answer and take a decision on the spot. But this is where your trust comes, that when you bring all of you to the table, you have to trust that you have the inner knowing to deal with any situation that presents. Any situation that comes to the forefront, you absolutely have the ability to deal with it. And you do, because you have a lot of experiences. How many situations have you dealt with so far in your life? You're masters of your life. Your story is so strong. You have lived a full life. No situation will come in front of you where it will not be part of your story. And that is the trust. You have the answer, and whatever answer comes from you is absolutely what should be said. How does that feel?
I have to be honest, I kind of fighting feel now. You think, I know it's wrong, and I'm fighting it, but I just feel, oh my gosh, what if maybe a relative dies, that you have some issues or whatever, right? I have to be careful not to go there.
Well, my father is dying, and we are going to have issues.
Yes, yeah. Actually, this is the time for issues because the issues will come. I'll tell you another thing now, which brings us after showing up fully with your complete self. Your destiny actually is to solve problems. And that's why we have so many problems. Because the human destiny, our growth comes from solving problems. So every day we have situations that we need to solve, every day, whether it's small, whether it's big, whether it's tragic, whether it's whatever it is, we are solving problems anyways all the time, all day long. That's what we do. If it's not our problem, it's somebody else's. We're helping somebody else. So actually, growth comes from, imagine now, I know what I know to this date. A situation comes, I'm fully present. I don't mask, no masks, transparency, truth. And I deal with the situation. When I deal with the situation, because I'm fully and wholly invested in it and engaged in it, I develop more power, more intuition, more courage, more strength. So every situation, I actually become sharper and better at it. And there's more knowledge and wisdom in every situation. So every situation, if you're dealing with 10 situations a day, which is minimum for every person, possibly we deal with a lot more, right? And imagine 10 times you're building your spiritual muscle, emotional muscle, physical muscle, mental, financial. 10 times you're building all these muscles. And when you do it day after day, very consciously now, that action is all there is. All you can do is take action. You already have the knowing. You have that awareness inside you. You have a lot of wisdom. You don't need others' wisdoms right now.
But
You,
they're going to give you their wisdom.
they will. And
Yes.
this is where you actually, in that moment, will decide. The moment will call for whether you will accept or not accept. That is the flexibility.
It's not up to you to accept.
In that situation, you will know what to do. And that is the level of trust. Because sometimes you'll just surrender, back off, accept them. Sometimes you'll say, no, this is not it. So that's what I said. You can't go in with a set mind anymore. You have to see what the situation is, and you will be doing whatever is best at that moment. Whether you think it's best for you or not is another story. Because how many times, if you look back in your life and you look at all this, even the painful situations, and if you analyze them later, you'll say, oh yeah, that actually, from that situation, I learned this. From that situation, I got this. So your negatives become positive somewhere. So even in this situation, but the good part is, in these days, you will not have the ability to go back and analyze that, did I do wrong? You won't have time to judge even yourself. Like we had plenty time before to stay in the head and keep doing this. Keep worrying. We were in the head worrying. We had no idea why, but we just stayed in the head and worried ourselves to death. And the stress levels got higher and higher, and our thinking became more handicapped. We weren't able to think properly. Our thinking got affected or compromised. So now we are in this moment, in that situation. Whatever you bring to the table is how you're going to deal, and each situation makes you stronger. And this is what, and as you actually become, after a while, you'll become masters. It won't take you very long. There's a reason why we are having this conversation today, and we didn't have it 3 months ago, and we didn't have it 2 months ago or 2 weeks ago, because this is the time. So when we deal with situations, and we've got now all of ourselves into it, we will, and you will have the trust. You will have the trust, and you will not have time to go back. So I think it's good. Another thing is that one thing to remember, which comes with showing up with all of you, is taking responsibility. A lot of times people will aim high, like shooting for the stars, aiming high, but they don't see the situation right in front of them. They don't want to deal with what's right now in front of them. They ignore that, but they will yet plan big and go into the bigger picture. So this we won't be able to do. So we will be forced to take on responsibility. Maybe it may happen because others may not support you the way they were, because there's changes happening in each person right now. So they will want to take care of their safety or whatever else. So it'll be important for us to take full responsibility of ourselves and everything else that is in our situation. If you take responsibility, you'll find you will have a lot more freedom. That means you'll have freedom of choices, freedom to select different things, freedom to change your mind as often as you please. You will have a lot more freedom if you take responsibility. If you do not take responsibility, you will be left behind. It's very simple. These are the times people who will actually feel healthy and well have taken responsibility. For smallest thing to the biggest thing. So take more responsibility than even you can manage, because this is the time to expand. And you'll expand very beautifully when you do that. So I think of, or this afternoon I was thinking of the mandala, Hinduism. In Hinduism it's used as a ritual, and Buddhists use it, and other religions too. So if you look at, I'm sure you've all seen the mandala, you can kind of compare it to life and psyche. They've got these designs, and it's a circle of life, and then you've got these colors. So like that, we have so many beautiful things in our life, in our energy field. We have so much happening. There's so many aspects that affect us. So it could be our emotional, it could be mental, it could be psychological, it could be so many aspects that we deal with. So imagine all of those colors, that each aspect could be a certain color of the mandala. So the mandala is like our own auric field. So these situations that are coming, all of a sudden you may see color blue, which may represent that you need to deal with the financial stuff right now. Another hour later, you may all of a sudden see color pink. That means that another aspect has changed. So when we are dealing with situations, it's never in one day you deal with one thing. You deal with so many different aspects of you and aspects outside. So this is where I feel that life is, that we already have that mandala within us. Each situation is perfect for what is right now you need for growth. These are the times to grow. This is actually almost a season, even though it is fall, yet it is spring, it is summer, it is winter. It's almost like all seasons have come together in one season right now. So it's a very dynamic, energetic, very forceful time, which is going to compel us, motivate us, inspire us to go much deeper and through action alone. So does it make sense? Any questions there?
I do. What do you mean by take responsibility? What does that mean?
Thank you.
Okay, taking responsibility in small things, daily things is, you see something that it's not correct, you can correct it. Taking responsibility of what you're saying, what you want to say, did you say that? Like even that. Taking responsibility of, it's not management, but it's just looking around you, in you and outside you, and just having your self-structure, self-discipline that helps your muscles, inner muscles, outer muscles grow. So simple form that this is how I do it. Whenever I see anything that I could change and better, I just go in and do it in these times. I just do it, or I say it or act it out. That if I can better something, I will do it right now. Yeah.
So is that kind of the same as taking initiative?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But this is almost like a deeper commitment to the self. It's like, because you know that you grow from this.
I think it's the same thing, but it comes, the motivation is
Yes.
from that, but you would take initiative because you know it's an internal challenge that you're working towards, right? You want to grow from it, and you want the people around you to also benefit.
Yes.
You do it as a commitment to that growth for everyone, I guess. I don't know.
So it also means to actually call somebody on something that you feel, well, it's not up to me, it's not my job, they can do it, right? It almost means that because there is the collective, everything that anybody does in your environment will affect you. So actually jumping in and saying that, listen, do you need help with that? Or do you need, what if we did this? It doesn't matter what they have to say, but taking that responsibility that I think this could help, do it. So, you know how we had boundaries around us before? We set boundaries. We won't let people in, right? And we had, so we did that very well, that I'm not going to talk to those people. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do this. And now we're not going to be able to have those boundaries. So we better take responsibility and change and shift what we can. It's also just simple thing, you know, like even in your own room, your own home, in your own environment, you try and correct anything as you go along. As you see it, you correct it. It's just small things that you do, right? You have too much of stuff, you can share it with somebody, or you can, you know, like keep your environment clean and clear, head clean and clear. And that happens when you take this responsibility of the self, for the self, and then it affects all your situations. It just matures you in a different way, deeper way. So taking responsibility. So without, I find a lot of people want to be free, they want to feel this way, that way. Okay, great. But the way to that is take more responsibility. You may find your freedom to do what you want. Yeah. It gives you much deeper muscles and deeper strength and courage. Because you're caring for the whole. You're not just caring for yourself. You're caring for everything. And that is needed right now, because that is your self-care program, basically, also. So just a few things, showing up again, showing up with full you, taking responsibility, and just having that trust that whatever situation comes, you're able to deal with it. Don't shirk from that responsibility. Be in the forefront, do what you need to do. And if you need to move back, then do that too. But then do it boldly and be transparent about it. Don't make excuses and don't escape. So these are the times, this is the remedy, this is basically the call for these times. And when we are mindful of this and practicing this, then you really need a very little of other practices to fuel your soul and your life. You won't need that much more. This is enough for you. So I will close with the action.
Just have one more.
Yes,
about
please.
The trust. Like for me, it's often like you feel if somebody is suffering or so, like you feel like put your hand on, or you open the door or whatever, and some people don't really like that. So that's always my dilemma, because they feel like, don't treat me like an old woman, or I can do it myself, or you know what I mean?
Yes,
That's
yes.
interfere in something that's none of your business, kind of a thing. Or?
Yeah. You know, you may be in many situations, and certain situations you may want to put your hand out and help them, and certain situations you will not. So when you do, trust that this is what you want to do. And how they respond is, you don't need to think about that. But definitely don't compromise and don't move your hand back if it wants to reach out and help somebody. So follow exactly what's coming from within, even though it is not accepted, not liked. It is important that you do what is coming from inside right now.
Can I just share something with that? Is that I think if you're doing that, like it's such a good intention, like sometimes if somebody has a problem with it, if you were like, oh, I just meant it like this, you know, I think when you kind of come from your position a little too, like if you get that negative feedback, you're like, oh, I just meant that. Then I think it really diffuses a lot, and you kind of own it too, right?
Yes.
Like, this is all I meant.
Yeah.
But I
And,
think
you know,
it's their problem if they don't.
Yeah, exactly,
accept it.
exactly.
Like, you know, and then maybe they
Yeah.
think later, you know, I was so mean to her.
Yeah,
She was
yeah.
trying to help me.
Yeah,
You
it's always true because it also defines you.
I just don't want to
But I
push
think for me,
myself on people,
sometimes
right?
with
Yeah.
somebody, you can see that they're misconstruing what
Yes.
you're doing, right? You can tell they're misinterpreting,
Yes,
and we just retreat because we feel a little bit, defensive
Yes,
or like
yes.
startled. But I think for me, the empower is saying, well, I only meant this. 'Cause
Yes.
sometimes even I don't say that.
yes, it's
Right.
important to say it.
Sometimes that
It
you don't
does,
It's-
especially if it's a public encounter.
Yes,
It's
But
very
they might
true.
think after,
yes.
I shouldn't have treated her like that. I
It
should have said
totally
this.
will change, and that's what I meant. Show up fully. That means say what you need to say, and so don't hold back. That's important. In my experience, when I'm with people, the one thing that I do, and I've always done, is that I would automatically, spontaneously help any situation if I'm in their environment. And I would tell people that I think this is what you should do, this is not what you should do. And I really mean it because I can see what's going to happen. I know what's about to happen. I have that insight. So I jump in. I don't wait for signals. I don't wait for signs. I don't wait for permission because I have that confidence that I'm there for a reason. And that is my trust. And so are you. When you are there, there's a reason. You may not understand it, but you're there. So I would help. And I often tell people that if you don't want me to help you in any way, don't even bother taking me for coffee because that's who I am. So you don't risk that if you don't want to, because that's just who I am. So it has defined my spirit. It's just, and that's how I grow and that's how I thrive and flourish because I'm able to call upon things and I'm able to be bold enough to say that this is what I think that. I don't care whether I'm a relative, I'm a friend, whoever, whatever role you want to put me in, that's your call. But to me, I am that savior without even having that role inside me. I just do it automatically because of who I am and what I've done for so many years. And because I love you. And when you suffer, it will hurt everybody else, many other people, because people don't have a strong threshold for pain and suffering. They're really, when they go down that rabbit hole, a lot of times, the dark hole, they're pretty alone. And I know how that aloneness, that darkness, and that pain feels. So I just butt in, and I have no problem with that at all. So I think it's very important that we all take on that courage and that boldness. And whether it's accepted or not, they will tell you, and then you can tell them your intention. And done. By this time, it's moving so fast, there's another situation to deal with anyways. You won't have the time to think too much about it. I can guarantee you, when you come back next week after, you'll tell me that I can't believe how fast everything's rolling. So that's good. I wanted to really share that today because so much was happening and I was getting so many calls for help and healing and all of a sudden news. So I thought that I should just share that and give people a nice opportunity or a warning that these are the times and this is how we need to make the best of these times. So we will start a meditation now. And so people out there, I'm going to turn off this camera now, and it is somehow FB Live doesn't, long meditations don't work well. I've lost a few already. So people who are present here, meditation will be for them. So thank you for joining me. And please, if you have found wisdom in my words, in my thoughts, do share this video with your friends and family. Let us change this beautiful world. One thought, make it even more beautiful. One thought at a time, one action at a time. The call for now is action.